Look at the grid on the screen. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to communicate all of it in Spanish and without looking. So you'll be able to talk about the present, about what you want to do, what you need to do. You'll be able to talk about the future and say what you're going to do. And you'll even be able to refer to the past and say what you've just done. If you look at this language here, that you'll be able to fluently use in a few minutes, and wonder how it will help you to order food in Spain, then you might be looking at the wrong course, because each lesson here, the language is deliberately chosen so that in the shortest time possible, you'll be able to hold a conversation in Spanish. And in fact, after just 10 of these lessons, these grids, you'll be able to maintain a wide range of conversations. So if you're thinking about just ordering food and drinks, then this course is probably not for you, and you should look towards a phrase book type course. So let's have a look at how this table looks in Spanish. I need is necesito, 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 and you can see that it looks a bit like necessary or necessitates. Necesito, I need. So now you try saying I need. Necesito. Easy. Necesito. And just one thing to bear in mind at the moment, there is no need to remember anything. It will happen automatically. The way the course is designed and the practice that you're given, there is no need to try to remember or to memorize it. Okay, so this word necesito, I need, is very useful. We can say things like I need a map, un mapa, by the way. I need the toilet, I need to speak Spanish, I need, necesito. Another phrase in this column is I'm going to. I'm going to, or in Spanish, voy a. Voy a, by the way. A V in Spanish is pronounced as a B. So it's not voy, but voy. Voy. Voy a. I'm going to. Voy a. Voy a. So straight away, we're going to be able to use the future tense. Voy a. Voy a practicar español. I'm going to practice Spanish. Voy a practicar. So now you try saying, after me, voy a. Voy a. Yep, easy. Voy a. So far we have voy a, I'm going to, and necesito, I need. So what are we going to do and what do we need to do? Hablar is to speak. Think of blah 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 blah. Habla. Hablar. So to speak, hablar. So now you try blah blah. Hablar. Hablar. To speak. And to study is estudiar. Estudiar. Easy to remember because it's a bit like to study. To study, estudiar. So now you try to study. Estudiar. Good. Estudiar. Spanish is, of course, español. Español. So to study Spanish is estudiar español. To speak Spanish is hablar español. Hablar español. So you try estudiar español. And try this. Hablar español. Good. So let's see what sentences you can say already. Now it's up to you whether you look at the grid, the table, for help or not. If you want to look away, then that's fine. Or you can refer to it for help. And there's no As I said before, there's no pressure to commit this to memory. It will happen by itself. So, how would you say I need to Spanish? I need to speak Spanish, rather. And I'll give you a few seconds before giving the answer, and if you want longer, then just pause the video. So, I need to speak Spanish is necesito estudiar español. Necesito estudiar español. What about I need to speak Spanish? I need to speak Spanish. Necesito hablar español. Necesito hablar español. How about I'm going to speak Spanish? Voy a hablar español. Voy a hablar español. What about I'm going to study Spanish? I'm going to study Spanish. Voy a estudiar español. Voy a estudiar español. So that's quite a lot already. Instead of Spanish, you might say English. You're going to speak English, or that you need to speak English. And English is inglés. 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 English. And incidentally, the accent is very important on this, inglés, because it tells you to pronounce the last part to emphasize the last part of the word, inglés. And the word without the accent means something quite different. And it means groin or groins. So, don't get your English, inglés, and your groins, inglés, mixed up. So remember emphasize the last part, inglés. I think by context, they'll probably know what you mean anyway, so don't worry about it too much. Okay, so inglés, English. So how would you say, I'm going to study English? Voy a estudiar inglés. Voy a estudiar inglés. How about I need to speak English? Necesito hablar inglés. Necesito hablar inglés. Incidentally, if you want to use a negative and say I don't need or I'm not going to, you just start with no. No necesito. I don't need. No voy a. I'm not going to. So you try. I don't need. No necesito. Repeat. No necesito. And repeat. I'm not going to. No voy a. So easy. We just start off with no. Before we move on, have a go at this nice long sentence. I'm not going to study Spanish. I'm going to study English. So I'm not going to study Spanish. I'm going to study English. No voy a estudiar español. Voy a estudiar inglés. No voy a estudiar español. Voy a estudiar inglés. So moving on, let's reveal a little bit more of our language grid. There are two important things for Spain, and that's eating and drinking, and the same goes for Latin America, of course. eating and drinking. So here we have the verbs to eat and to drink. And I mentioned before that all the language here, each lesson has been chosen and put in a specific sequence so that the learning is effortless. And one of the tricks that we use, the techniques that we use, is to pair up certain words, and it makes them easier to remember. So here the pair is to eat and to drink. They make a good pair. And it's comer and beber. To eat and to drink. Comer, beber. Comer, beber. So now you try. Comer, beber. To eat, to drink. And again. Comer, beber. To eat and to drink. Easy, straightforward. So try saying this sentence, and remember, you can look at the grid or not, it doesn't matter. I need to eat. Necesito comer. Necesito comer. What about, I'm going to eat paella. And they pronounce it paella because a double L is a y sound. So it's I'm going to eat paella. So I'm going to eat paella would be voy a comer paella. Voy a comer paella. What about this one? I'm going to Spain and I'm going to eat paella. I'm going to Spain and I'm going to eat paella. And just a couple of little things that you need. You might know already that Spain is España, España. But you might not know that the word for and is y, just the letter y, y, y. So the sentence is, I'm going to Spain and I'm going to eat paella. Voy a España y voy a comer paella. And see if you can work out what an extension of that sentence might be. Y beber, to drink, y beber sangría. Y beber sangría. So a very long sentence might end up something like this. Voy a España y voy a comer paella y beber sangría. I'm going to Spain and I'm going to eat paella and drink sangria. Another very useful phrase that we can